Okay, as you can see here, we're doing a teardown. I want to be able to, so part of my motivation for this is to get rid of the compression on the pedal desk side. I can use the compression in the SSL6. I have channel compression, I have bus compression, and I have post compression via the finalization process. So that should allow me, so I'm using my TalkBack mic, so I'm sending the talk input out of the foldback, number 2, bringing it back into channel 5-6, obviously just going in mono, I don't need stereo. For my TalkBack, I can mute it right here, just like a little recording studio. Fancy, right? So that'll enable me to go, the Tim is still sitting here only because I've got it hooked up to the, ooh, how's that for a ground loop? Oh, nice. Oh, it's not plugged in. In any case, that's just hooked up to the volume pedal. That's the only reason I have it sitting there. So what I'm going to do is I have a couple pedals coming, but I'm going to hook up gain into this, and then out of this into what I'm going to consider to be my standard delay, which is the Starlight, which I don't have sitting in front of us right now, but I'm going to pause the recording. I'm going to kind of set up the first stage, which again is my core tone. I really just want my core tone into these first two channels. Spend a little time getting it set up level wise, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about getting my stereo send hooked up into the part B of the board. So I'm going to only have one stereo send now as compared to 2. The way it was before, I didn't feel as if I needed the second loop, which had effects loop, which had the Starlight and one of the loopers in it. I think I can get away with coming out of the Nano Cortex into the Starlight into here, and then sending everything else through there. That way I won't have such a, I think I'll just have a better sound altogether. So let's pause this. I'm going to get it set up. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. All right, now I'm trying to set this stuff up for better accessibility. It never seems to work that way, but I want obviously my gain, all my tweaky pedals down here at the bottom, and then kind of the foundational stuff up top. So coming into the fuzz, we're going to go into as yet unnamed overdrive pedal. It's a pedal I've never played through in my life, but it's a very common one. And no, it's not a tube screamer. Into the Intelligent Harmony Machine, up to the Tim, which has, again, the volume pedal in the effects loop on it. So this is set clean. Into another as yet unnamed pedal that's on its way. That's why there's space in between these. Into the Nano Cortex, into the Starlight, into channels 1 and 2 of the SSL6. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to turn my mic off and get some levels. Personally, on the channel strips for the SSL6, I like the preamps just below noon like this. For guitar, at least, I think they sound pretty good. All right, so that's at the board. As I'm sure you're probably hearing, though, I'm blowing it up at the back end. So let's take this back. Usually I got to take it back about 7 dB. Let's see what we get. That's about 7 dB. I'm getting a little red line, but we're going to see how that records. Okay, so what we've got here is what I'm going to call, let's try the volume pedal. Okay, so everything's working fine. Levels seem to be good, front and back end. My post-processing doesn't change. I use in the, what is it called? Grand Finale, the Clev Grand, whatever the finalization process I use, it's called Live Polish. So I don't really change that too much. I try and control it in the central part here, the pedal desk. And then there's a little room reverb from the Valhalla Supermassive. And again, that just gives it just to make it sound like it's in a room. Because again, my goal here, my goal here is to, try and replicate what I prefer out of an amp. And it's been a struggle, but man, I'm getting close with this setup. I really like the way this is sounding. So, what time we got here? I've got a little time still. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the recording again, get my stereo send set up, and come back and do a little shakedown of that as well. So again, back in a bit. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I have to live in stereo land, I think, with this setup. So we're coming out of stereo Q number 1 into the Infinity, out of the Infinity into the Zoya, into the Microcosm, into the Galaxy, into 3 and 4 over here. Now, what I need to do is, and this is the part where I'm going to do a little learning, so I'm going to turn on stereo Q 1 and 2. I got them hard panned left and right. So hopefully I'm only sending the signal to either the left or the right side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to solo. Here, I should just mute these. So this effect, that's from the Zoya. I'm working on a tremolo that the speed is impacted by the input level through an envelope follower. And as you can see, the signal is much stronger now. Hear the microcosm kicking in there. All right, so let's do one thing here. Let's get rid of the audio. All I want is the trim coming out of this thing. I want it to do like a shimmery effect. Again, I'm still working on it. Now we're only hearing the stereo return right now. Once I add another guitar. So I was a little curious about a couple things. So I realized this as I was hooking this up is now my chord tone is going to always have the Starlight on it, which by the way is set to a Analog Man, Deluxe Memory Man. And that's the other thing I'm kind of testing myself on here. I have an Analog Man modded Deluxe Memory Man that I'm actually selling on Reverb right now, but I really like it. And I gotta say the Starlight is just fine. Plus it's stereo. The Deluxe Memory Man is not. Obviously I gotta work on that Dynatrem a little bit. So let's try to work on it just a little bit for the moment, since I got a stronger input signal. So what I'm doing here is I'm listening. So if you're not familiar, PFL on a mixer or console means pre-fader listen. So I can hit that button and listen to it at the input, see if it's distorting at the input, and it was. So I took the left and the right here. This is the level of the send. On this particular console, 0 dB is all the way up. So started 0 dB and I'm backing it off, because I can always blend it with the fader afterwards. Okay, so that's good basic levels. That's a pedal desk rebuild, and that was kind of the motivation. Another one of the motivations here for doing this is I'm trying to think of this as a pedal desk now, which is more like a console with some upward gear and my chord tone in the front. And I think I like it. I mean, heck, I haven't had to tweak too much at all. And if you look at all the levels, they're sitting where they should be. I'm not peaking anything out. Again, I haven't listened on the back end. My meters on my computer are not necessarily terribly accurate, so I'm going to be curious at listening back as well. Make sure I don't blow up the world. Nothing worse than digital distortion, but I think this will be a success. You know, I've also got this set up so I can tune this down easily. Another thing I'm looking forward to kind of messing with. Change my tuning on that. In fact, I might create a preset with the same settings, but it tunes down, so I can just hit over here, set up my loops at whatever octave or harmony I choose, and then head back to my chord tone. So one thing that's really nice about this SSL6 is it's got not only got the talk input, but it's got the the LMC compression, which is, what is that, line mic compression. So I effectively have another, and that's what I'm doing here is I'm sending the full back number 2, or I'm sending the talk back through the talk input through the stereo Q sender, the full back output, and then bringing it back into channel 5 and 6. So that's kind of the last piece, so I can talk. Not that anybody wants to hear me talk, but I don't look like I'm overloading. I'm compressing a little more than I want to, but that's to be expected because I have all of the compression off of the pedal desk. And that's the experiment to see. And in a general way, this is a less is more situation. Without those compression on there, there's a lot more life in the signal. And there's some things I want to tweak here, but I don't want to waste any more time in this video. So there you go. There's a quick pedal desk version 2 setup for you.